Good afternoon everyone. So we are the group 5 and we are going to tackle about financial literacy. So first we have budgeting. So in budgeting we have three major components. First is the income, which is the money that we received on a regular basis for work or business or through investment. Second is the savings, which is the money that is allocated for our future usage. And lastly is the expense. This is the money that we usually used for our payables or the money that we use for the cost of something. So what is a budget plan? So a budget plan is a guide on how much to earn, save, and spend every time money gets into our pocket. This will also help us in monitoring how much money we are spending every time and how much will be left that will be put or that will be put in our savings. So we have here pocket in. So when we say pocket in, it shows all the breakdowns of our income, such as our salary, allowance, and additional income. So pocket in is what usually known as our income. Next is the pocket out. So the pocket out tallies all our allocated expenses such as housing, transportation, utilities, groceries, medical, and such and so on. So this pocket out is also known as our expenses. Then lastly is the pocket left over. This one is the income minus our expense. So the money that is left from all our expenses is what we call pocket leftover. So this is the excess money after all of our expenses are deducted from our income. So now we have the principle in creating a budget plan. So first, define and understand your current financial reality and habits. So first, before we engage in spending our money into something that we are not sure of or we must first understand our current financial reality and habits before we spend our money. Next is that set your financial goals to determine your savings, allocation, and other course of action. Lastly is that allocate first a percentage of your income for savings. Depending on your set financial goals, then whatever is left will be budgeted for expenses. So you can also use the 50-30-20 strategy. So this 50-30-20 strategy is a budget rule wherein the 50% will be put in our needs such as groceries, utilities, housing, health insurance, and car payment. The other 30% will be put in our wants such as our shopping expenses, dining out, and hobbies. Lastly, the 20% will be our savings. So in continuation, the guidance for self-discipline spending will be reported by Mr. Redulla.
Hi, how are you? Are you also one of the people who loves to spend? Do you want to discipline yourself? Then, you are in the right video. I am Saserum A. Redulla, tackling about 8 guidelines for self-discipline spending and managing expenses and debts. Let's first start at 8 guidelines for self-discipline spending. First, we have to bring a record of your budget plan for daily reference. Like for example, You have a notebook intended for a budget plan like how much money you spend on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Take note that this is for your daily reference. Number 2 is to track your daily expenses. As what I've said, you will track your food consumption if it is exceeding your budget plan. I exampled food consumption because in reality, it is the one who really consumed mostly of our budget. Next thing is to find ways to save from your allocated daily expenses. Since you already track where mostly your budget daily went, try to limit it as long as you can. Just for example, there's a birthday or other celebration in your neighborhood, then don't cook food in your house and eat a lot there to save money. Fourth, and I think the most relatable one, is avoid impulse buying. Think before you buy. Know the difference between wants and needs. And here goes the number 5, which is spend on useful and purposeful things and not for status symbol or mere convenience. As what I've said, know the difference between wants and needs. If buying, please consider if you really need it, or stated in number 6. Buy quality yet inexpensive things. You don't need to buy brands just to show off or follow the trend. Still, stay in your budget track. The question here is, how did you know if the products have the quality that worth its price? Then there goes number 7. Research and ask help for major spending. Research, and you will have option. Example of it is buying a laptop. It is one of the essentials nowadays because we are currently undergoing an online class. Know the specs or ask experts and professionals if the price is right. I would suggest to ask someone who is close to you or your relatives rather than the employees, because they will always step the best foot just to make a deal and sell the products. Lastly, less is more in truest sense. What it meant is that buy less to spend less. Know your priorities and don't just spend because you want it today, but rather buy something because you need it today and may use to the future sense. So, that's it. The 8 guidelines for self-disciplined spending. Now, let's move on to managing expenses and debts. Managing expenses. It is knowing your budget allocation, working within it, and finding ways to lessen its actual spending. So yeah, managing expenses is a great way on what I discussed a while ago about self-disciplined spending. How can we manage expenses? Well, we do a little formula here. BE, or the budgeted expenses, minus the SHB, or the sacrificial hardship value, is equals to actual spending, which is the AS. In simple term, here it is. The other one is budgeted expenses, or BE, minus mindfulness value, or MV, is equal to actual spending, or AS. In simple term, lastly, budgeted expenses, BE, minus savings opportunity value, SOV, equals actual or zero spending, ZS or AS. The simple term is here. Next thing is managing debts. It means knowing when to buy or borrow money, setting financial obligations as soon as possible, and avoid credit dependency. Some parents can relate to this. We need to oblige our financial. Avoid the mindset, I have someone to lean on if I spend all my money. Don't be too dependent, or avoid if you can in loans, especially in 5-6. You may end up having more debt and may end up having an anxiety thinking all those debts. Here's some tips on managing your debts. Check if you have the budget for loan repayment. clearly define a very important objective of getting that loan? Research if you are getting the best loan offer in the financial market. And lastly, have a backup financial plan to fast-track the payoff of loan or to prepare for unexpected financial obligations that may affect your budget. Don't just think the now, but also the future use of your budget. Save and be safe. Again, I am Cesar Redulla, reported about 8 guidelines for self-disciplined spending and managing expenses and debts. Thank you and have a good day.
Hi, I'm Caryl and Rodas, and this is my report about savings and investment. So, what is savings? When you say savings, it is the starting point of all investments. It refers to money allocated to future use. So, ang investment, ito yung way na makaipon tayo ng pera. For example, ako noon, yung may pasok pa, binibigyan ako ng parents ko ng 100 per day. So, yung 100 per day yun, ang magastos ko lang is 50 pesos. Sa 50 pesos na matira is, ginagawa ko siyang savings. That's why, tinatawag siyang savings kasi yung mga natitira nating pera, sinisave natin para may gagamitin tayo for emergency. Next is, what is investment? Ang investment, it is an act of setting aside money for profit or gain at a certain period of time. So, ang investment, kasama yan siya ng savings. Kung may savings ka, pwede ka mag-invest ng pera mo. Kasi yung savings mo, pwede mo siya i-earn or i-buy into savings or into investment na gusto mo. For example, ako meron akong naipon na 3,000 for a 1 month. So, yung 3,000 na yun, bibili ako ng mga gamit because that's my investment. Yan yung gusto ko, yan yung goal ko sa pera ko. That's why it is called investment. Next is deposit. When you say deposit, it is a sum of money placed or kept in a bank. So, alam naman natin, di ba, kung ano ang deposit? Ito yung pumupunta tayo ng bangko para mag-deposit ng pera natin. Para at the same time, yung pera natin na andito sa bulsa ay hindi siya mawawala or hindi natin basta-basta magagasta because gideposit natin siya sa bank, and once na gideposit natin siya sa bank, it makes sure na secure yung pera natin. Next is fixed income securities. When you say fixed income securities, it provides fixed periodic with full return or principal upon maturity. Ang example ng fixed income securities is, for example, yung for example, magprenda tayo ng ating mga alahas. For example, i-prenda natin yung pupunta tayo ng pawn shop at saka i-prenda natin yung mga watches natin. So, 'di ba, pag once na magprenda tayo ng mga alahas natin, may interest 'yan. So, yung interest na 'yan binabayaran natin per monthly. So, once na pag na-stop yung interest na 'yon or na-stop yung payment mo, magko-cost siya ng maturity. For example, hindi mo na makukuha or hindi mo na mababayaran pag over maturity na yung payment mo. Yan yung fixed income security because once na magprenda ka, sinisecure yan ng pawn shop or company na bababayaran mo yung interest ng kinuha mo. Next is government securities. When you say government securities, it is a debt instruments issued through the Bureau of Treasury which are used to finance government spending. So, ang government securities daw, ito yung siyang inuutang ng government sa Bureau of Treasury. For example, yung Bureau of Treasury is kumuha ng pondo doon sa labas or sa labas sa lugar. For example, kumuha yung Bureau of Treasury sa Singapore ng pondo. Tapos yung Bureau of Treasury ay nagpapahiram sa government securities para ma-provide or ma-support yung mga projects na kinakailangan ng government because the government supports the community. So, Yun yung tinatawag na government securities. Next is fixed income private securities. When you say fixed income private securities rather, it is also known as corporate bonds. These are issued by corporation in order to raise refunds or funds to support ongoing operations. Ang example ko nito is SSS educational loan. This is one of the fixed income private security na example because sa SSS educational loan, papayagan ka nila mag-loan as long as yung parents mo is continuously nagbabayad sa SSS, then yung kinuha mo na pera is babayaran mo after mo mag-school. That's why this is called fixed income private securities. Next is investment and mutual funds. When you say investment and mutual funds, it is managed by professional fund managers who allocate the money with an aim of producing capital or income of investors. Ang investment of mutual funds, ito yung mga businessmen na naghahawak ng malaking pondo na kung saan naghahanap sila ng partnership nila para matulungan nila na matutulungan nila on how to rolling the money on to become a successful businessman or woman. Nga na lang siya ang investment of mutual funds kay nakabutang they're managed by professional fund managers who allocate the money. Mao na siya ginatawag na investment in mutual funds kay tungod ang businessman o ang iyang partner kay magtinabangan niya sila para ang isa ka business kay mag-success. Next is insurance. Insurance, it is a contract represented by policy in which an individual or entity gets protection. For example of ang insurance kay, for example sa mga PhilHealth, we have insurance for that. For example kanang atong parents kay ma-hospital, we can get an insurance from PhilHealth, makatabang ang PhilHealth para sa atong mga financial needs and assistance. Yan siya ang example. And another example for insurance is, for example, kanang namatayan sa inyong family, then you need a financial assistance. So you can go to insurance na ginakwaan nimo, for example, part sa inyong sa insurance sa inyong parents, nga na, for example, PhilHealth, nga na sa SSS, pwede ka makakuha og kanang insurance nga na kay tungod member kay sa ingana nga butang. Next is real estate. It is a property made of land and the buildings. So, kaning real estate, kanang mauni siya ang kanang sa land good nga na siya authority ba? Na siya authority nga, for example, pag ako mupalit ko og kanang lupa, na ako authority kay tungod gipalit na nako ni siya nga mayuta real estate. It is a property made of land and buildings. Kumbaga kanang ginapatindugan og mga balay mo na siya. Next is agricultural land and mainly used for agriculture. Ang agricultural land, ginagamit ni siya kanang ginatunuman ni siya sa mga farmers ug kanang mga products nato nga daily needs nato ba. For example, kanang ako yuta unya naay farmer nagapangita og yuta nga ilang rentahan. So moadto sila sa ako kay magrenta sila yuta tapos kanang yuta nga na kailangan ginatunan og kanang agriculture nga products para i-sell pod nila sa kanang mga company nga naga-produce og kanang agricultural products. Mo na siya ang agricultural land, kanang panag-iya nimo nga agricultural fund or kanang mga farming ana. Next is residential. It is used for houses and residences. Kaning residential kay, for example na pod kay anang ako mupalit ko og balay tapos kanang balay na ko kay ako na jud na siyang property kay syempre gipalit man ako mo siya gina from the word resident kay murag na residence na kasi isa ka country or isa ka lugar. For example kanang mugawas ta, di ba kailangan pag mugawas ta kanang residential sa gawas kay di ba kailangan na kay mapalit dito nga yuta ay para maingon ka nga residence kasi ang ani nga lugar. Una siya nga ginatawag nga residential. Next is commercial. It is used for commerce or business. Kanang example ani commercial is kanang makita gud ninyo sa kanang mga YouTube. For example kanang YouTube nga naay mga ads nga nga masulod sa every video nimo. For example, kanang commercial nga na kay gina-introduce nila ang ilang products nga na para mahalin. So mao nang one of the example of commercial because it is used in the business actually. Next is industrial. When you say industrial, it is used for manufacturing industries or plants for the production of commodities. So when you say industrial, is kanang mo siyang gina-manufacture sa kanang isa gud ka planta. For example, kanang mga planta sa KFC naghimo sila products nga kanang mga ketchup, suka, inga na tungod kay gina-manufacture nila ang isa ka product and isell sa ubang country, mura i-export nila ba anang industrial. And lastly, the commodity trading. When you say commodity trading, it is as simply as for may mean you setting up a small store. Ang meaning ani commodity trading kay murag kaning mao ni sila ang naga-reseller good kumbaga na ako'y kanang ukay-ukay nya nagapangita ko reseller nga mag-resell aning nga product na ako para mabenta. Nga every reseller nga nagakuha si mo na siya interest. Kanang interest nga na kay makatabang na siya para maglaboy mo ang business. And that's it. That's the part of savings and investment. Kasi once na may savings ka, makaka-invest ka talaga. At saka yung investment mo, mag-start yan sa small business hanggang sa maglago. For example, yung Jollibee, hindi yan siya Jollibee before. It's that a restaurant like kanang mga karinderya lang na siya. Then, one day, kanang business na ginarolling mga payment or kanang mga money nga ginarolling sa ka-businesswoman, once na mag-boom ang imong business, makapatindog, maka-invest yung ka mas dako. And that's the meaning of savings and investment. Thank you.
Do you know how much you're worth? If not, I will help you learn about your financial worth. But before that, I will introduce myself. My name is Jouveniel Phej Villanueva, and I am discussing about knowing your financial worth. So, first of all, what is financial worth or your net worth? So, your net worth is the difference between your assets and liabilities. In simple terms, what you own minus what you owe. So, here's the formula of getting your net worth. Total assets minus total liabilities is equal to net worth. So, what is your total asset? So, a valuable asset is something of economic value that yields a benefit over time. So, for example, your business. So, your business is an example of an asset because your business is generating income over the time. On the other hand, liabilities are usually sums of money owed by someone or something. So, for example, liabilities are your loans. For example, your house loans, your car loans, or your gadget loans, or your mortgage. So, let's try to calculate a financial net worth. Peter has a combined asset worth of 5 million pesos as well as a house loan for 2.5 million pesos. What is his total net worth? So to solve this, we have to get the total asset and the total liability. So Peter's total asset is 5 million pesos while his total liabilities is 2.5 billion pesos. So to get his total net worth, we have to subtract 5 billion pesos by 2.5 billion pesos, which is equal to 2.5 million pesos. So therefore, the net worth of Peter is 2.5 million pesos. Now you know how easy it is to calculate your financial net worth. Let us try to understand what is the importance of getting your net worth. So knowing your current financial situation allows you to better budget your expenses, make more wise financial decisions, and you can achieve your short-term or long-term goals. So calculating your financial net worth is really important for you to have a better view of your expenses. You can make your plan, you can budget, so that in the future you will achieve your goals in your life. So that's all for my presentation, and I hope that you have learned something from this, and I hope that you can apply this to your life. And thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Hi, I am Maricar C, Liwan, and I'm going to tackle about how to start a business. To start a business, you need to come up with a great and unique product or service. You need to think carefully on this matter. Open a business that can afford by your target customers. The second thing that you need to do is to conduct market research. Market research will tell you if there is an opportunity to turn your idea into a successful business. You can strategically work towards changing customers' loyalty and positioning your brand in a unique light. After you conduct your market business, you are going to write your business plan. Your business plan is the foundation of your business. It's a roadmap for how to structure, run, and grow your new business plan. It will help you reach your business milestone. A well-thought-out business plan helps you to step back and think objectively about the key elements of your business and informs your decision-making as you move forward. It is essential whether you need to secure a business loan or not. You will also use it to convince people that working with you, investing in your company is a smart choice. Next, you are going to pick your business location. Finding the right location means understanding the right qualities to look for a potential space. Choosing a business location is one of the most important aspects of starting a business. Whether you're setting up a brick-and-mortar business, an online store, the choices you make could affect your taxes, legal requirements, and revenue. The fifth steps you are going to do is to choose your business structure. The legal structure you choose for your business will impact your business registration requirements, how much you pay in taxes, and your personal liability. Business structure affects how much you pay in taxes, your ability to raise money, the paperwork you need to file, and your personal liability. You'll need to choose a business structure before you register your business with the states. Next, you need to choose your business name. You'll want one that reflects your brand and captures your spirit. You also want to make sure your business name isn't already being used by someone else. Choosing a good name is very important. Your first impression of your customer with business owners and investors. Investors like to select business for their business potential factors such as marketing and the right business name. The right business name can also help differentiate you among potential investors. Register your business. Once you pick the perfect business name, it's time to make it legal and protect your brand. The next thing you need to do is to get federal and state tax ID. You'll use your employer identification number for important steps to start and grow your business, like opening a bank account and paying taxes. It's like a social security number for your business. An employer identification number or EIN help you register a business entity, obtain a business loan, open a business bank account, and much more. For some businesses, an EIN is a tax requirement. The next steps you are going to do is you need to apply for license and permit. Keep your business running smoothly by staying legally compliant. It is important to register to collect
sales tax by applying for each separate place of business you have in the states. A license or permit is important because in some states it's a criminal offense to undertake sales without one. Now that you have license and permit, you can now open a bank account. Some recommend keeping separate business and personal accounts for easier record keeping. Some businesses are legally required to open a separate bank account. A small business checking account can help you handle legal tax, day-to-day issues, and can be used for your other payment method. The good news, it is easy to set one up if you have the right registration and paperwork ready. The last steps you need to do is to be a click and mortar. It's a type of business that has both website and physical stores. Creating an online or website page for your business help you gain more customers and can be recognized by many people through online.
Large debts.
Starvation.
Death.
Such are the bitter or poisonous fruits of financial illiteracy and poor money management.
The COVID-19 pandemic resulted in wide-scale business closures and unemployment. And during these times of financial crisis, we tend to turn our attention to or withdraw funds from our savings, investments, and insurances. But unfortunately, the majority of our population does not have these.
According to Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, nearly half or 48% of Filipinos have savings. How about the other 52%? All of us love riding on trends, buying of brands, and shopping of unnecessary items. However, we hate savings and investing.
Consequently, we had nothing to turn to when we badly needed money. We wholly dependent on the government's help, almost starving to death. Clearly, we did not prepare a plan for this.
So how do we avoid starvation and death?
We learn financial literacy and money management.
Financial literacy is the comprehending of all money matters from acquiring to managing, investing, and helping others. Money management, on the other hand, is the applying of it or tracking the expenses, investing, budgeting, banking, and assessing of tax liabilities. Therefore, we learn new skills and involving money and applying them by making and acting on financial plans. Which skills?
Which skills? It's the budgeting skill. You'd be like, I have many responsibilities to spend for. Now, it's about acknowledging these responsibilities and allotting a budget for them.
Managing expenses and debt skills. I have to limit my consumption so as my expenses do not exceed the based on the budget that I have. Live within the means and know when or why when borrowing money.
Savings and investments. The future is composed of maps. Secure the future by making investments and letting insurances now.
When we better comprehend the underlying concepts of financial literacy and improve our money management skills, recovery from crisis becomes simple.
Remember that doing everything of these isn't a danger, yet a more secure ground, and turning to huge credit and loans. And we can generally begin to be monetary proficient and to be oversee cash even with a pitiful pay.
We do not study and work just to meet basic needs and pay debts, but also to build a bright future for our family.
So, let's stop eating the poisonous fruits of financial illiteracy and poor money management.
Let's start in becoming financial literate, in managing money, thus becoming independent and prepared for the future.